Okay, well, welcome to Any Last Words. I'm your host, Joe, just in case you guys forgot. And tonight, my guest is a man of many hats: actor, writer, director, producer, probably secret assassin we don't know about, Jonathan A. Moody. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Well, I used to live by Camp Perry, so that's like the CIA station. So who knows?
Ooh. He's
Yeah,
not
I'm doing
saying, but
great.
he's saying it's possible.
I'm just saying, I'm not admitting to anything that I'm allowed to. Um, no, I was actually just talking about that today. That I used to live over by Camp Perry, and it's a very scary place because if you turn the wrong way and you go into it, they have guns pointed at you and all. It's where they train. It's where they train these CIA people and everything. So, I mean, yeah, it's not where you want to be, unless you actually work there.
Did you see anything kind of funky ever happen around the vicinity of that place, or was it all just pretty low key and quiet?
As far as I know, they sometimes they do testing stuff, like testing their equipment. So you might hear like a big loud bang or whatever. But aside from that, no, I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure they don't keep like aliens there,
Ah, shit. No.
I know, right? Like that's what I want to see, but no, I don't. I think they just keep keep the CIA people there. I do remember a guy told me once, because I asked him, I said, I didn't know where Camp Perry was at the time. I was like 16, 15, something like that. And I asked the guy, where do you work? He said, Camp Perry. And I said, oh, what do you do there? It's like, I could tell you, but I have to kill you. And I laughed because I've heard that thing. I laughed and goes, no, I'm actually being serious.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, well, they actually do say that then.
Have you, by any chance, have you seen Space Force on Netflix with Steve Carell?
No, a friend of mine was watching it last night, and I came in the room and saw it, but I might at some point. I kind of want to. I heard it's really funny.
Is. It's hilarious. And there is a line like that in there. So that kind of reminded me of it.
I'm sure they're because I mean, that's really true. They really, I mean, they could tell you, but you're not allowed to know that stuff,
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, well, next topic, moving on.
Oh man. Well, that's pretty cool though. That is cool to hear.
Yeah.
Well, we got our first comment of the night. Richard Nettleton. Hello, Richard. Thank you for joining us again. He says, hello, I can't really hear you because I'm on location in a noisy place. Plus, I left my audio earplugs in the car and I'm too lazy to get them. Well, have fun.
Thank you, Richard. I mean, all right. Well, there you go.
Thanks for your support, buddy.
Thanks for not listening.
I love Richard. I've known him for a while. He's a really cool guy. Very supportive.
Is this going to be like archived so people can hear it later or something, or is this?
It'll once it's because right now we're simultaneously streaming on Facebook and YouTube Live. Once it's done, it'll be automatically completely uploaded to YouTube. It takes a little while after we're done, but you can always go back to the page and see it again.
Okay,
just like with Facebook. So I've kind of thought about the whole what is it called, that Spotify kind of deal where it's just the audio of podcasts and stuff, but I don't know how much work that entails because, like I said earlier, I don't claim to be computer savvy. I click and point at things until something works or stops working completely. So
I'm the same way. I definitely do not know a lot about technology, but I know enough to get me through the podcasting stuff and everything. So so I'm kind of with you. Like I can get by. That's it.
Yeah, it's like, and it's a lot of times I'm too embarrassed to ask for help, so I'll attempt to Google, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I totally know what they're talking about. Push this button, I think.
You think Google's your friend, but sometimes I get the wrong information, or it takes me forever to find what I actually want to figure out. Typing into Google, so whatever.
Yeah. It always feels like a Pinterest fail when I'm going to go for it, though. I'm like, we should record this and see what happens. It might be funny later.
For sure. For sure.
Oh, well, apparently Richard can somewhat hear us, or he's amazing at reading lips because he says, I know enough to ask for help.
Yes.
So maybe he asked for somebody to go get the headphones for him out of his car.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe give the bartender 10 more bucks.
He's at a bar, maybe. I mean, I guess it's a noisy place.
Yeah, he probably is.
I'm surprised. We're actually talking about that. My roommate and I were talking about all these bars are saying they're opening up now and everything. And my biggest question about that is like the fact that like how are you going to drink at a bar with masks on? You know, like that's got to be a little awkward. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's gonna be because I work in a bar. It's kind of not mandatory. It's kind of like how it kind of is now. I mean, I know LA is really extreme right now. Like I don't want to be in LA, but up here where I'm at, it's kind of at the discretion of the owners for what business you run. And at a bar, we obviously know it's not going to work to wear a mask. So they've taken out all the chairs from the bar. So you can't sit at the bar anymore.
mm-hmm.
They've taken out half the tables because you can only have half capacity. And all the tables have to be 6 feet apart from one another.
And
right?
how's that going to work with the movie theaters? They're literally going to have to space out the theaters, and I mean, it's going to be an interesting world we're going to live in pretty soon when everything opens up. You know,
I think they're probably just going to turn around and go, oh no, never mind, y'all go back home. Go home.
Because I heard, the coronavirus may come back in. What is it? In
November?
No, well, actually, I heard September.
August.
Yeah, something like that. So, I mean, it could happen again or whatever. That like a worst case and everything, and and you're right. LA had it bad. So like, we had a ton of stuff happening like all at once.
Oh yeah.
And now, like, I'm so glad things are opening up. Like, one of my favorite stores just opened up, Dark Delicacies. So I can't wait to go back over there and check that out and everything. And by the way, James Cullen-Bresic, I just said he can hear us both fine.
Okay, cool.
So good. So it's not on our end that, that's perfect. Hey, James.
Yes, thank you for joining us. I assume you know Jonathan.
Yeah, I actually just interviewed James for Indie Corner Radio, so he was awesome. You guys can check that out on indiefilmcafe.podbean.com.
Actually, I got that right here. I'm gonna scroll that at the bottom, and you can also it's on Facebook and YouTube, right?
Right.
Okay, so good. I didn't mess it up.
Yeah, there's Facebook, there's YouTube, and there's Podbean. which is the basically a source for Indie Film Cafe for the podcast itself.
Okay, and it's just Indie Film, the Indie Film podcast. That's you and 2 other guys, right? And you guys basically.
Well, it's me and this other guy, Paul Presenza. We are the owners of Indie Film Cafe, and then, but since like I moved from Virginia to LA, we kind of separated a lot of things. So, but because of the power of Zoom, we're actually able to do a lot more, a lot more podcasts together. So we're going to work on that. And, there's going to be a few episodes without Paul, but then there'll be some more with Paul coming back up. And I'm actually joining him for all his ones coming up. So that's going to be fun.
Nice. And but you do like several podcasts though, right? Not just.
Yeah. The one I did with James was Indie Corner Radio, and that's like a throwback to my old my first podcast I ever did, Independent Corner Radio. And then I also have the Writers Process podcast. I have Hollywood Boulevard podcast, Frights the Roundtable podcast, Hollywood Knockbusters. I mean, they're all on Indie Film Cafe now.
Yeah.
So they're all on one section. So it's not like you have to look. For a while, I was actually having where you had to be on different platforms and different ones. And now I'm just like, put them all on one. So everybody can just find them easily.
There you go. That sounds like a plan.
Yeah, it's just simple.
So how do you find time to do all these different podcasts on top of like, writing and directing and being in movies yourself as an actor? Like, do you kind of stagger when you're doing these other shows or?
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, right now, because of the pandemic, it was like I was able to knock out a lot of them like back to back to back. Sometimes I was doing like 3 episodes a day, and I would just record them and then, upload them whenever they were ready to go. It was like when I interview some people, sometimes it was like in beginning of May that I might have interviewed them, but they wouldn't actually come out to like June, or whatever. So it just depended how many I did. So if I did like 5 that week, I would have 5, each week I'd have one and then another one and then another one to do.
Sheesh, Louise, I couldn't do that because I can't. I don't know. Like I tried the whole editing deal before, and again, we go back to I am not a technical genius. And I caused my whole system to just crash and lose everything. And I was like, I hate editing. I never want to do this ever again. So everything's like.
I'm not a big fan of editing either. Actually, 2 of the ones that I have to do, I have to for the writer's process, both have to be edited, which means all I've got to edit on both of them is just take out certain things that just need to be taken out. And so that's a pain in the ass. Honestly, because I have to actually listen to the whole podcast to get to that one spot. Because I should have marked them down like where it would be like around, but I didn't do that. So now I have to go back and I have to edit certain things out, that might have, my friend Jeff Howard, I have to edit something out because we lost his audio at one point.
Oh no.
Yeah, it just dropped and we couldn't hear him. And so I was like, oh, can we do that? Can we right? So he, did that for me and everything. So, he repeated everything. Now I have to go back and I don't know where it is. And that was like almost an hour and like 10-minute podcast. So I have to go throughout the whole thing and just re-listen to it and find it. And, yeah. So it's what it is.
Cringy.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, but you kind of get used to it.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, okay. So I want to talk about some of the films. And I did watch Scary Story Slumber Party today.
I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought the beginning, and spoiler to you who have not seen it, you can go on, if you have Prime, you can go see it. It's not a very long movie. But I enjoyed it a lot. I really did. I thought the beginning with the chick and the guy, I don't want to spoil too much for people who haven't seen it, but it's like shit.
It's been on Amazon for like 3 years. So,
okay. Oh, that's true. It said 2017 on it. Yeah. But no, I love the beginning where, they're walking and the girl's like, oh, like, I like you a lot. Like, I want you to be my boyfriend and stuff. And he's like, I'm gay. And then she gets all crazy and she ties him to a tree and she's like, talking to him and he starts smarting off to her and she goes, you're never going to get into my pants like that. And he goes, I don't want to get in your pants. Like, I'm gay. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. And I will say my favorite stories were Capture and Kill and Valentine's Prey. Valentine's Prey and that one were my favorite ones out of all of them.
Really? So, I'll tell you my favorite ones because I love them all. Like I'm a little biased. I really enjoy. I was just joking when I said earlier. Like I'm sorry because I'm proud of the movie. Obviously that movie actually got finished in 2012, so it's an older movie, and everything. So, but it was one of those films where I was just glad I got it done. I was just glad it got finished, that it was out and everything. And then it took about 5 years to actually get on Amazon Prime. And wow. I wasn't happy with the distribution necessarily of it because it just didn't, I was expecting DVDs and other things. And we sold DVDs at conventions, but that was one of the things. But I was looking at it going, well, it could be, better, right? Like there's certain things, But for what we did and the money that we had, which we had nothing to make these movies, I was very proud of it. So I think my favorite ones are I love God, and I made these movies, so I should remember all the names. But God, the one with Sierra Holmes, jeez, you know what? It's the bar
blonde,
one,
right?
No, it's the
Yeah.
bar one.
Oh,
The one
yeah,
where,
with the they go to the brother and the sister.
yeah. Well,
With
I guess that's the end part, yeah, because you don't ever expect that at all. But yeah, the where she captures the guy that and I'll spoil it once again. She cuts the guy's balls off or whatever. I love that. I had a fun time making that movie, that episode. I like Valentine's Party a lot, but when you're a filmmaker, you kind of look at the stuff inside the movie while you remember all the stuff that happened behind the scenes that nobody else will see, but you're looking at it going, oh man, I remember when I made that, and I remember like what happened in that particular time and how dramatic that that night was, or something, or whatever. So but Valentine's Party was wonderful. It came out a lot. I actually did not think it was going to come out as great as it did, and I'm very glad it did, because it was just one of my first ones, and
okay.
I was very proud of it.
Oh, as you should be. I thought it was great. I thought the whole film was great, but those two really stuck out for me because I can see that happening to somebody. Like you get like this really off the wall guy who just so happens to be delivering her flowers, and he becomes infatuated with her and all this other shit. Spoiler alert. But
yeah.
But
there's gonna be lots of spoilers. You guys should watch it. I mean, it's free on Amazon. It's an hour and 15 minutes, so it's not too super long. And it's something. It's like PG-13 horror to me.
Yeah,
and it's nothing too gory or scary. But it's fun.
It is. I also implore everyone to go watch that as well, because it is great. And if you have Prime, like you said, it's free. Just watch it. You're already paying for the shit. So, and that way you guys know what we're talking about too, so you can enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
Frankie Miguel says, "Hey guys, greeting from Vegas."
All right.
Richard goes, "Bragger."
I don't know which part of that was about. I saw that. I was like,
probably when you said, "I'm sorry."
I was something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's funny.
And James says, "Great podcast, guys." Thank you, James.
Thanks, James.
Yes, and thank you guys, everybody who's joined us so far. If you weren't here at the beginning, my guest tonight is Jonathan A. Moody. He's a director, writer, producer, actor, and secret ninja. Speaking of ninjas, I have a link in the descriptions of these videos going on right now for a movie that you're working on called Supernatural Assassins.
Mm-hmm. They're not ninjas, but there might be ninjas in that movie at some point. Ooh. I don't know. You never know, because I love ninjas. I really do.
I know, I do too. Every time I think of assassins, I think of ninjas for some reason. I don't know why.
Isn't there a movie called Ninja Assassins, I want to say?
Or a video game?
Yeah, I think it was a movie called Ninja Assassins.
Okay.
By the way, I'm gonna say Richard said, "What's the name of the film?" And the film was Scary Story Slumber Party that we're talking about.
Yes.
I
will put that in the description right now, or in the comments.
Yeah. Supernatural Assassins is a project that we're going to be working on next year. It's going to take us a while to get everything, going for it, but it's going to be basically a pilot that's going to be a 2-part pilot, so it'll be 90 minutes long. In case somehow or another we don't get picked up for like a network or something, we can make a movie out of it. So
there you go. I like backup plans. Backup plans are always nice.
Well, sometimes you need that, you never know.
Yeah. Oh, and sorry, real quick, going back to Scary Story Slumber Party. So there's a sequel and there's a series. Did I read that wrong?
Okay, no, you didn't read that wrong at all. There is a sequel in the works. We've got a few of the films already finished, or whatnot, but we need a few more things, and then we need the wraparound filmed and everything. Right now, it's kind of hard to film any kind of film at all, at all. So we're gonna do something. We're gonna finish it up, and we got it all finished. And then the series was in the works for a while, and that's taking a hiatus for the volume 2 to come out. So once that comes out, maybe there will be a series, but I don't think so, because there's another anthology we want to do as a series instead. So, and I can't really talk. Well, I can talk about that later, I guess. But great, so we'll see if that happens.
What was your favorite story to work on during Slumber Party?
My favorite story to work on. Okay, by the way, that title was Unlucky Night. I just remember that.
Yeah.
Which we have realized is a thing. Okay, if you want your production to go well, do not name it something like unlucky or cursed or bad or whatever, because a lot of times the production will not go well. Unlucky Night was difficult to work on, but it got finished, which was great. It just took longer than we were expecting. And then what was the one I had the most? I think The Pledge. I didn't direct it or anything. I just wrote it, and at the time I would probably have told you no, that wasn't my favorite, because it was a pain in the butt. But I was really proud of working on it and everything, and getting everybody together. And it's probably the one that costs the most money too. That was the one where the girl goes into the house, and Devney Penn goes into the house and gets the ghost comes after her and everything. And it's one of my favorite projects, because it was actually based on sort of a story I'd heard from a neighbor of mine. And so I kind of put it into the script, so yeah. And then, when she's explaining, oh, this is Amanda Thompson's house and blah, blah, blah. That was actually all that story about the girl hanging herself was all a ghost story that somebody, told me, which made actually and it was supposed to be like in the 1800s or something that had happened. And I had told my dad years later about that. And he was like, that house across the street was made in like 1950 or something. Like it wasn't even around then. So.
Oh wow. Well, I think that might answer a little bit of a question from Richard. Maybe he says, "Are there any urban legends that you want to make a film about?"
Funny that he says that. We actually have a series that we're gonna eventually finish. To work on, called Urban Legends to Die For.
Ooh.
And those are basically urban legends that are with a twist, So, if one urban legend like the Bloody Hook, thing, well, we go like a little bit further with the Bloody Hook. It's not like the story of the hook. It's like maybe the hook is possessed or whatever, things like that. So we take it a little bit further, and that's something we are working on. We're just we got to get Supernatural Assassins done first, and then it's going to be a spinoff. So a bunch of other shows will be spinoffs of like Supernatural Assassins.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Rachel says, "Hey y'all." Hey Rachel, thank you for joining us.
Hey Rachel.
I would pronounce your last name, but I suck at doing that. So, hi Rachel.
I suck at last names too. Trust me.
It's like I don't mean to butcher your name, but that's how Az reads it.
Exactly.
Let's see. I can't show a video tonight because I talked about that earlier. Let's see. I have notes. Collision Earth. Do you want to talk about that one?
Oh wow. Yeah. So I just moved out here to LA, and I sent a message to the guys who run Asylum, the company that do like Sharknado and everything. And I asked if they needed somebody in the office or whatever, and they were saying right now they didn't need anybody in the office, but if they had a movie production, would I be interested in coming out working on crew? I said, sure. So they called me up, or they messaged me on my birthday, January 12th, and they said of this year, and said, hey, we're shooting a movie. Would you like to come out today to act and do production assistant work? And I was like, sure. And so I get there thinking I'm just going to be a production assistant and with a little bit of like extra work, like in the background. And no, they had me in the background all freaking day. So that was awesome. And I actually had more lines originally, and they were giving me it that day, and it got like really crazy. So they gave my lines to a couple other people, which, usually people be upset about that. But me, I was like, whew. Like, cause like there was just, I wasn't even expecting lines, so I come up there and did my best. And then, I got to work with Eric Roberts. So that was pretty cool. And had a blast. Everybody there was super awesome. I love like everybody, that work for the asylum, and got to just be on, like, me being on set is just a fun thing. So I enjoy it.
And that's good. That's good. That means you'll never work a day in your life.
It's still work. Don't get me wrong.
Oh no, absolutely. It's still work.
I was expecting to do more production assistant work, but they kept asking me to come back to the set and run around and everything and be in the background. So ended up not even doing really production assistant work. And I was kind of happy about that. No offense. I loved everybody in the production assistant crew, but it was more fun being an actor.
Oh, that's cool. So is that what you were striving for originally, was just to be an actor, and you just kind of like, hey, like I have these ideas and I want to write them? Or was it the opposite? Like, how did you decide that you wanted to do what you're doing?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a Ghostbuster. And then,
nice.
And then I realized that like those Ghostbusters aren't real, even though they're the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So, later on, I would love to go ghost hunting and stuff eventually, but so I was like, I want to be on camera. Like, I want to be in front of the camera or like, be an actor. So I did a bunch of plays in like middle school and high school and stuff. But it wasn't until I was like 13 or 12 or 13 that I started writing. And then my writing kind of took off. And then I became, doing that a lot more than acting. And then I just it's kind of both. I enjoy both. So if somebody asks me to act in something, I'm down. As long as it's, something I can do. Right. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. What was the first film that you were in an acting role?
Well, film wise, it was like, do you talk about short films or feature films?
And just a film period that you were in front of the camera?
Well, other than my own films, which I really don't count a lot of my short films I did before. Mm-hmm. I guess The Closet was one of them, which it hasn't come out. And I don't know if it ever will. And it's not because it's bad or anything. It's wonderful. It's too old now. And I don't think the director has, but I co-wrote it with the director, and I acted in it with Devaney Penn, and it was one of the first things. So that was one thing. Then I did a short film called Nightmare Bunnyman Bridge.
Oh,
and yeah, so I got to play, a guy with a Jufro. They gave me like this crazy hair, and then a spoiler alert, I get killed by the Bunny Man. But so we did that, and then the other, I guess the first feature film I worked on was a movie called Plan 9. It was a remake to Plan 9 from Outer Space, and I was just a zombie in that. But I was very glad I did it because John Johnson, who made it, and I have become like really close friends and have worked together constantly. So, but he didn't know me as actor. Yoni knew me as a director at the time. So he was like, wow, you act too? And so I sent him some clips of stuff I've done. And he was like, all right, come on out. You know,
Nice.
So, yeah,
so
it was really,
you got lucky.
I was very lucky.
Oh, Lance Wagner says, "Hey Faves, what's up, Lance?
Hey Lance,
you sipping on that pineapple juice? That pineapple freeze?" And Richard wants to know, is there any film out there you didn't like, and would you like to remake it the right way?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know if I would remake something I didn't like. Because generally when I don't like it, I don't want anything to do with it. Because like there are films that like I would definitely be on board remaking. We watch a lot of really bad movies on Indie Film Cafe, and we always talk about, oh, this would be great for a remake. This would be great for a remake. And and Hollywood is so stuck on remaking good movies. Like who wants to remake Psycho? Like seriously, no, nobody wants that. Nobody wants a remake of Jaws. We've got a million ripoffs of that. Enough, but remaking something like when John did Plan 9, and he made it his own, movie or whatever. Like it wasn't the Plan 9 from outer space we all knew. So I would go in that vein. I've always wanted to remake Bride of the Monster, but I think it's owned by some company or something that probably would never give me the rights to make it. Plan 9 itself was easy to be remade because it's public domain. So
okay. Well, Lance says Plan 9 from outer space is life. He also says supernatural.
Yeah,
supernatural assassins, please. Yummy. And Jack Hunter says, who's the sexy dude on the right?
Hey, Jack.
Robert says, hey, everyone. Hey, Robert. Hey, you guys for joining us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate everybody being here. I think almost every one of those people.
I know like half of them, maybe. Maybe.
Well, great.
That's being generous to myself.
So yeah, no, I'd probably, if I had the chance to remake Bride of the Monster, that's the one I would do. Okay. It's also an Ed Wood movie and everything. So, and I love it, and it's something that's easily be remade. So that'd be fun.
Well, Richard also wants to know: is there a book that you would like to turn into a movie? Maybe one that's not already done.
No, not really. I'm not. It's not that I'm not a really big reader. I mean, I've got ADHD really bad, so like focusing on stuff unless I'm like really into it, Like, I mean, I read books that are like, books that teach you things, but I don't read things like, novels and everything these days. I probably wouldn't. It would have to be something that's like, I don't know, Dracula or something, but I wouldn't even do that because like those have been done way too many times. I mean, I don't think so. Like, yeah, I don't think there's anything any book I would want to to adapt.
Okay. Well, now, if you don't mind, sir, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions so that for those who don't know much about you could get to know a little bit more about you. I promise they're not going to be super personal questions. So like, I don't want to know your underwear size. So.
I don't even think I know that. So it's all good.
You're like me. It's like, these look like they'll fit.
Yeah, if they fit, they fit. Like literally with the Target. And that's what happened. I went to Target and I was like, medium. All right.
Sounds good.
And then I brought them home and I was like, oh God, these are probably not going to fit. And they did. So I was like, all right.
Okay. My first question would be, if you had the choice of how you would die in a horror movie, how would you want to go?
I had a choice of how I want to die. This is going to sound really bad, but I would die having sex. That would be like the way I'm going to go out. in real life. Like if I knew like that was the way that was gonna like literally happen, you know, or something. But in the movie, yeah, too. Like that would be cool, you know.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me catch up on these comments real quick. Robert says, I love Jonathan Moody. Richard
Aw.
says, I'm the same way. A book has to have my full interest for me to read it. Jack Hunter, this is def a show I want to be on. Coughs, Joe. Haha, yeah, because Lance says, yes, Jonathan, abracadabra, Moody, ADHD is real.
Mm-hmm. Real struggle.
Real struggle. And Ron Purty says sup.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Okay, so back to the questions. Now that I took care of you guys. What is your favorite genre of movies? Is it horror movies, or do you just enjoy doing horror movies and you really like westerns or comedies, or
I don't
you
like
never know.
westerns. I don't
Okay.
like westerns. I'm not a big western fan. I'll watch a western, you know, but I'm not a big fan of that genre. I would have to say comedy probably. Horror I love. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm a diehard horror fan. I watch so many horror films. But if I had to choose one genre that I had to live for the rest of my life and watching, it would be comedy, because I couldn't watch horror every day of my life for the rest of my life. You know, that would probably drive me nuts. But comedies, at least, if you can make me laugh, you know, and nowadays it's sort of hard to find really good comedies and everything. Things like comedies kind of changed in a way. So especially with a lot of political correctness and other things. So there's not many of those, you know, these days. So I do generally go toward horror, you know, to watch. So.
Okay. What movie, whether it be horror or not, has made an impact on your life?
It would be my favorite movie of all time, which is the movie Ed Wood, which was mentioned a second ago with Plan 9 and everything, and Johnny Depp. Yeah, it was a freaking wonderful movie. That probably has been like the biggest inspiration to me as a you know, as a filmmaker, period. It's the one movie that introduced me to bad movies and everything, that there was actually a subculture to this stuff. So after I watched that movie, I was like, I mean, it made me want to be on set, and it made me want to direct movies. So I loved it. So that would probably be it.
Okay, cool. I love it. Let's see. Ronald says, get out like Twitch of the death nerve.
Yeah, I think he was saying I should go out, like I should die that way. Don't kill me for this, but I've never seen that movie. I've heard of it, so I have no idea how the person died in that. So maybe it was through sex, or maybe it was through something else. But
hey, why not? Go out with a bang. Literally. Jack says, Mr. Moody, horror is life, bro. You take that back.
I mean, horror is life. I said that. I wasn't saying I don't like horror, you know. I'm just saying that I couldn't watch it for the rest of my life like that. Like I couldn't, you know, it's very, you know, you have to be in a dark place for the rest of your life like that, you know, to kind of really feel that. And so I love horror, you know, and I absolutely do, but you know, I also really like to laugh. So
yeah. And horror comedies are great when they're done right.
Yeah, Cabin Fever. A lot of people don't really find that as a horror comedy, you know, but it has a lot of comedy to it, you know. And I those are kind of movies you know, like my favorite Friday the 13th is one of like most people's least favorite, which is Friday the 13th Part 8, and that had a lot of freaking comedy in it. That's the one where it goes to Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
And it was silly at times, and I like that. Like, if you can make me laugh in a horror movie, then, you know, hats off to you, because I really enjoy the Scream is one of my favorites, you know, and not scary movie, but like Scream, you know.
Yeah. So. You know, I did kind of like the scary movie franchise until it got burnt out. Like, I noticed that was a thing for a minute. Like, that was a big thing. Like, everybody had their own little comedy or their horror parodies that they were doing, or movie parodies. It kind of felt like after a while, it kind of felt super lazy, if you will, because everybody was doing it and it was just the same formula of how to get through the movie. And it was like, I was good with like the first two. And then after that, it was like, could we just stop, please?
Exactly.
Let's see.
I knew I was gonna get some shit from, especially from Lance. He didn't like that Friday the 13th. Hey, you know what? A lot of people don't, but a lot of people do. So there's kind of half and half of people who really enjoy that one.
I remember seeing it once, and I remembered I didn't care for it, so I never watched it again. But I'm a lot older now, and my tastes have somewhat changed.
Well, you probably watched on like USA where they cut out all the freaking good stuff. So.
Oh my God, I forgot about that channel. Holy shit.
Yeah, remember when they used to play like horror films and shit? Now they play like crap,
Yeah. Is it even USA anymore, or is it something else?
It's still the USA Network, but they've kind of rebranded and they decided to go with like their own original stuff or whatever.
Okay. Richard says, I heard lazy. Someone calling me?
What?
No, Richard, no one's calling me lazy. Because I was talking about how those movies felt lazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He says, I heard lazy. Somebody calling me?
Oh, okay. It's funny.
No, Richard, go get your damn headphones.
See, Ron says Part 8 is great. See, I mean, there's always going to be like half and half. Like some people love that one and some people don't, yeah. And then Robert, I guess, said he's working with me on Supernatural Assassins. So yep, he's actually, we just got him as our social media intern. So nice. Awesome. We're definitely using Robert in our company.
Nice. Jack says they canceled the best series on USA. The Purge series was amazing. I never got to see the Purge series all the way because I was always working when it came on. So I would see like clips of it, and I'm like, this kind of just seems like the movie to me.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it, and not because I had no interest, but because I haven't watched all the Purge movies yet and everything. I have a collection on 4K that has like the first 3, I think. Okay. And I need all of them eventually, and then I'll probably buy the first or second or whatever, how many seasons the Purge show did. Mm-hmm. But I'm sad that it got canceled. That sucks.
Yeah, I see. Of the Purge movies, I think Election Year was the only one I haven't seen yet. But I saw the other ones, and I thought those movies were genius. Honestly, I really thought they were genius.
I remember watching the first one, and it suffers from the one thing I'm really not a big fan of. Mm-hmm. And I've talked about this on a lot of different, like on podcasts or video casts or whatever. But I'm not a fan of like one house location kind of thing where people are stuck in a house and they have to survive or whatever. Sometimes they can do really well, and sometimes it bores me. I'm a guy who likes a lot of stuff happening. If you read any of my scripts, like Supernatural Assassins is going to have a ton of things happening because that's just the way my mind works. And that's what I like. And so I generally like a lot of stuff happening. But the Purge 1 had, just one location and people getting attacked. And I liked it. It's just, I think it didn't, I think Purge 2, where they're out in the world and everything, that just made my day. I love that a lot more.
Yeah. I like both for the, I like the second one for the same reasons you did. They're all out, so you get to be in the middle of it, and I'm trying to watch my words right now because of what's going on. The looters and the rioters, if you will, the mischief makers.
It feels like the Purge.
It does. It absolutely does. And I think that's why I'm thinking of this movie more and more now lately, because I have been thinking of it, because it kind of feels like that's what it's going to come down to. I don't want to get like super like political or anything, but it's just from what I'm hearing and what I see. They're trying to defund the police. It's like, well, we can't police ourselves. You guys realize that, right? this shit's happening right now. This would be us policing each other. It's like not like we're just holding up a phone and telling on each other. Like we're not really doing anything vigilante-ish.
Right.
And then, then what happens? Do we have the military come in, or do we just go full on purge? Like, okay, I'm the president. This is going to be great. It's going to be great. This is what we're going to do. We're going to tell everybody, we're going to tell everybody to be good for a year. And then we'll let you guys do whatever the hell you want one night a year. Okay. It's going to be great.
That's a bad idea. That's literally the worst idea I've ever heard.
Everything is a bad idea right now. It feels like everything's a bad idea right now. Oh my gosh. I don't know. But yeah, I like the Purge movie. The first one, I can see what you're saying. Stuck on one, location is just kind of like redundant. It's like, okay, can we freaking move on from this place? But I like the fact that I feel that is something that could maybe happen in our wildest dreams one day. And it's like,
I don't want to imagine that. I literally don't. I don't want to think about that because it's.
Okay.
I mean, it's a great idea for a series of films and everything. And it's interesting to see what they do with it, and everything. But I would never, no. I don't want that to happen in real life. Like that's great for fantasy. Yeah.
Let's keep it there.
Let's keep it there. But like I said, there's been the rioters and the looters and everything, and curfews being set and all that. But it's that is what it is. Something we had to deal with.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I'm just glad the curfews are over now because.
Are they?
Here in LA, they seem to have been. I don't know how they are where you're at, but they. You never got a curfew?
We had looters and rioters. It wasn't really that bad. I mean, but we did have more than normal stuff happen here. So, and I live right off of the main road from downtown. So the very first night, they all came down my street because the cops were diverting them from downtown. So diverted them through downtown onto the main road. And then they were going down our block at like 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
Just honking and screaming and racing up and down the street, and the ghetto birds are hanging real low. It's like, oh, I just want to I got work in the morning, guys.
We were watching a live stream on YouTube for the news, and there was a there was a high-speed chase happening, and the dude was going like over 100 miles an hour down the interstate and other places, and then onto rural roads and everything. And it was the dumbest thing in the world. Like, I don't know why they did this, but these criminals started, these looters or whatever that were getting, going to be arrested, it drove as quickly as they could. And then, kept turning. We were afraid that they were going to crash into other cars, for red lights and everything. They started driving, and then they got out right before they were supposed to hit their, they literally stopped when they were miles away from the cops, right? They stopped their car. The helicopters are still watching them, by the way. So we're seeing everything they're doing. And I'm just like, I almost wish I had popcorn. I was watching it going, what are they going to do? Am I going to see a live, people shooting each other and, things like this? I don't know what they're going to do. So they get out of their car and a bunch of them run to a house, right? Then another one just gets down on their knees and gets ready for the cops. And I'm like, what is going on? This is,
oh my God. It's like a live episode of Cops right now.
It was scary though.
Man.
But it was strange to see. And it was a white, pickup truck or something, or white truck, something like that. I thought it was the funniest thing was it reminded me of the O.J. Simpson, thing. So, it was not a Bronco as far as I know.
Oh yeah.
But you were literally
I actually
were
had
watching
an
it
OJ
happen.
Bronco, and I got made fun of it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's crazy. That's so crazy. I grew up in a not so great part of the San Francisco Bay Area, and we saw crazy stuff like that happen all the time growing up. Our neighbors would get into shooting fights with each other, right across the street from one another. But I cannot imagine living in LA. I mean, I love LA. Don't get me wrong. I love LA. There's so much shit to do. There's so many different people. It does slightly remind me of being back home in the Bay Area because there's such a big, diverse group of people that are down there and different cultures, and I love that so much. But that shit just seems scarier than where I was at sometimes. Or maybe I moved to a more sheltered place. I don't know.
Well, I mean, and that's another thing too, because I'm from Virginia, and I'm from like a very suburban area of Virginia where there was never any like, there was never any worry that you were going to get like shot or anything, because like nothing really happened in there. It's like a very touristy, nice area. Like if you see a homeless person there, it's like almost a foreign thing,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I moved to LA, and it's like homeless people all over the place. And I as far as I had never seen any gang members that I know of, or whatever. If I did pass by them, I wouldn't have known. But it was never, it was definitely a different culture shock. But it's kind of a really cool like thing as for a writer to like see different things, and actually live, a different place. It's really, I recommend moving to places where you don't feel comfortable, because it helps you if you write, if you're into writing.
Right. Or it can help you grow as a person maybe too, like because you're from a smaller, more tight-knit community, and then you go to something it's so big and it's just so overwhelming and so much to absorb.
Exactly. I agree.
Ron says, we have a pandemic, equality issues, and murder hornets. What's next? A new Nickelback album? Oh, please, no, please.
Why are you putting this out into the world?
I know, stop. I already done messed up earlier with that purge bullshit. Let's reel it back a little, people.
Yeah, let's try not to think of like things that are horrible.
Let's hear somebody find Sasquatch. I'm cool with that. I think that would be the next weirdest thing that could happen. I'd be okay with. Somebody find Sass.
So. Yeah, well, I mean, he is the hide and seek champion of the world.
Exactly. Everybody finds Waldo. Nobody's found Sass yet.
Some people can't find Waldo. I mean, I remember those things. It was hard to find.
Yeah, they were, because they'd always put the same freaking colors all throughout, like the same 3 or 4 colors everywhere.
Yeah, for
Stop
sure.
it, Jack. Stop it, or I'm gonna kick you out. I'm just kidding. I won't kick you out.
But yeah, no, it's been a really crazy year already, and it's funny how people are already. It's only like half the year's over, or whatever, and like people are already saying, "I hope 2021 is better." I'm like, oh my god, we haven't even gotten through this one. Like it's so sad. But it feels like it started, in 2000, like right when 2020 started. It's like when craziness just started happening for the year. So.
It sure as hell did. I'm over it though. I'm over it. This isn't anybody's year this year. We're done.
People are like, this is the worst like time for me to move, because I moved January 1st. So like, all right. So like people are thinking, oh man, you picked a great time. But I'm actually like, I kind of did pick a great time, because the pandemic got me a chance to do a lot of stuff that if I were working or doing a lot of other things, I wouldn't have been able to do. So, I mean, I would have done it at home in Virginia, but it's nice. It's nice being out here and meeting people and doing all the things I've been doing lately.
Yes, and it's good that you're taking advantage of this time, because a lot of people are not. So,
well, I mean, I'm also being a little lazy at times, because
that's okay. You just moved, so
right. Yeah. So I mean. I'm looking forward to maybe going to the beach tomorrow if I can and stuff. But aside from that, like, I mean, I try to get a lot of my podcasts done so that, they're all made, so I don't have to keep like doing things like at the last minute or anything.
Freaking Jack. I don't know who you are, dude, but I love you. You're great. Since 2020 started with a damn chicken sandwich. The fuck is wrong with us?
No.
I actually saw that because I went to Popeye's last night for dinner.
Oh.
Those Popeye chicken sandwiches, how everybody was like rioting at these freaking Popeyes. You're right. That did happen at the beginning of this year, Jack.
Oh, jeez. God. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. things have changed. It's always like something, you know. It's like the 24-hour news cycle. You know, there'll be something tomorrow that the
Oh,
news will
absolutely.
focus on, and then you know, after that, you know, there'll be something else, and then something else. And I mean, it only lasts about 24 hours, and then they move on.
Yeah. Richard says, I kind of missed the virus though. Traffic is back to sucking. Yes, it is. It is. I know. Oh, and people are driving like idiots now. It's like, damn, did y'all forget how to drive when you was in California?
Don't say you missed the virus, because it's still there. It's still there. It's just, you know, it's
no, I
gonna
think
come
he
back
misses
worse.
the lockdown deal.
Well, I think sadly in September or so, and I'm not putting this out in the universe like this, but this has been told that, I mean, we might have another wave of this stuff happening. So we just all got to be careful, wear our freaking masks, and do this stuff. I mean, I hear a lot of places don't have masks on and everything. And I guess because I'm just so conditioned now in LA that like everywhere in LA you need to wear a mask, you know, and I'm happy with that. Like, I'm okay with wearing masks as long as it's keeping me safe.
Right. Oh, sorry, Jack. I mean, I know you, but I never met you, sir. I'm so sorry. He says, you don't know who I am. Heartbroken, sad face.
Yeah. Hashtag heartbroken.
Oh, did you have anything that I might have missed? Did I miss anything?
I think, I mean, you saw Scary Story Slumber Party. You talked about Supernatural Assassins. We talked about my podcast. Did you get a chance to watch The Invited?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not that one yet. I've been watching a lot of stuff lately because I've been able to start catching up before I start school and again this week. So,
well, no, The Invited is something I did. So I sent like a clip to you or something, I think, through YouTube.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. But no, it's a project that we're hoping to do. It's actually, once again, going to be another spinoff of Supernatural Assassins. So there's a character named Katie Morris that will be, introduced in Supernatural Assassins, and then she'll have her own spinoff show. That'll be kind of like the Ghost Whisperer kind of thing, where she has to help ghosts, basically get back to the other side and everything. So, I mean, we did a pilot for it, but it was only like a 15-minute pilot is the what I sent you. And hopefully there'll be another one, eventually.
Oh, cool. Well, fingers crossed, sir.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of that is, in line with if Supernatural Assassins takes off. When that takes off, then all the rest of the stuff that we do will hopefully go in line with that.
Okay. Well, for you guys who are interested, there is a link in the description so you guys can go watch Supernatural Assassins. I think it's 8 minutes long.
Yeah, the promo that we did.
Yeah. So you guys can check that out and stay updated on it by clicking the like button on the Facebook page for it as well.
Awesome. Yeah. And we have a group now too. And our plan for the group is every 500 members that we get, we're going to do like a contest where we'll have like T-shirts or whatever, and we'll do like a raffle for everybody that wants to be included, and then we'll do it live on the group and everything. So,
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So. We'll see if everybody's interested in that stuff. And I mean, we're announcing there's going to be a lot of cast members, and we've been announcing a lot of people every day pretty much. So, hopefully, I don't know when it'll be, there'll be actors being announced for a long time, because there's so much going on.
Oh, nice. Well, I hope it all pans out after this pandemic. So
yeah, that's the crazy thing is like, you can't, like right now they're telling people that they're allowed to go back to working on films and everything, but like people have to stand 6 feet away from each other, and like there's all these guidelines for it. And I'm like wondering, how's this gonna work for like certain movies and stuff? Like, is it like, I don't know. it's gonna be a weird time pretty soon.
You porn, everybody's gonna start wearing masks.
Well, sometimes they already do, right? You know.
Oh, touche, sir.
Yeah. You know,
I'm sorry.
like I know I would. You know.
I would wear a Nomex suit as well. Oh my gosh. Well, you guys make sure you check out Indie Film Cafe. There is a link in the description as well that takes you to the site. You can watch all of his podcasts that he has to offer. Also, check him out on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and see all the awesome projects he's got going on. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. Well, I know most of you do already. So for the rest of you guys who are new, you guys need to check it out because you guys are going to like it, I promise. Yeah. So with that, do you have any last words, sir? Absolutely. Like I said, I'm excited to see because you're a busy guy, and I like that in people.
Oh, thanks. I try to continually do stuff, but a lot of it's just right now, just in development until we're ready to start shooting again.
Awesome. Oh, well, thank you for joining me tonight, and thank you guys for joining and participating in the show. I've had a blast with all of you guys.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me. I had a blast too, and a lot of these people are crazy, but I love them.
Oh no, they seem like they're cool cats. So
yeah, they're crazy in a good way. Yeah, my kind of crazy.
Well, maybe when this all opens up more and I'm able to travel around where everybody's able to travel around a little bit more, maybe I can come down and see you on a project sometime and
definitely. That would be great. Come on out to LA, come visit.
Yeah, because you're honestly one of the people that I kind of had on a reserve list for when we were able to travel. And then I was like, well, you know what? You've got a lot going on right now. I'm going to ask you. So.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I love doing other people's podcasts. It gives me a chance to kind of, I guess not come up with all the questions, so it's nice.
It is nice because sometimes I lost my train of thought. Wait, what?
It happens with me all the time too. And especially if I'm a really big fan of somebody or something, I will generally start stammering for questions or whatever,
Oh, overly apologizing. I'm sorry. And
they're like, why are you sorry? I do that stuff all the time anyway.
It's like, I'm just a geek. Leave me alone, please. I want to go over here for a second. I just need a minute to breathe.
Oh.
I'm a total fangirl. I don't know. I have anxiety around new people. Even if I've like with you, I'd probably be, even though I've spoken with you, I get along with you, pretty well. You seem like a pretty chill person. In person, I'd be like, hi, how are you?
I feel like I'm that way too sometimes. But I've been to so many conventions and everything that I'm kind of used to walking up to somebody and saying hello. I remember walking up to certain, quote unquote celebrities and walking up to them and go, hey, are you so-and-so? And hey, I'm a big fan, because when you see the person in person, it's a little different, so you're not sure, is that the person? Should I go up to them? Should I talk to them? Well, you do. And then, it's okay. The worst that people can say is fuck off. Oh,
that only just makes me mad. Then I'm like, well, you're a fucking jerk.
Well, yeah, but and I've dealt with some of those, but at the time you have to think maybe they're going through something.
Oh, absolutely. And they've got people in their face all day long. So no, I definitely can't understand that, but okay, sir.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you so much for having me on today. I really appreciated it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it as well. I had a lot of fun. And like I said, hopefully when we're able to move around a little bit more, I can come down and visit with you.
Yeah, definitely. And by the way, my co-star, co-writer, co-creator of Supernatural Assassins was just in the room. Guess she came in a little late when we were about to close up. So Samantha Marie. So hey, Samantha.
Hey, Samantha.
But yeah, no, it's great. I'm excited. So everybody check out that group that we have for Supernatural Assassins on Facebook. And there'll be a lot of cool stuff happening with that. Like you'll be excited when you see all the cool stuff.
It sounds like there's going to be a lot of cool stuff, and it sounds like there's some cool, promising stuff that could possibly happen after it comes out. So,
yeah,
like I said, I'm looking forward to all of it.
Hey, I would definitely love when we start doing some stuff for it, for you to come out and interview us and stuff for it. So that'd be awesome.
Hell yeah, cool. Oh, well, thank you guys for tuning in and participating. I really appreciate it a bunch. And I will be back on Wednesday night with the host of Chronic Horrors. If you guys have ever seen that show.
Nice.
Oh my God, I'm going to butcher his last name. I sat with him in Vegas at a convention. I smoked weed with him in the parking lot. And then he told me who he was. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have him on Wednesday night. So for those of you who are interested, come back on Wednesday night. Same bat time, same bat channel.
All right. I'll definitely have to check in and be a commenter on here.
That would be cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I love this. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.